For the Deputy Lord Mayor of Perth, Mr Bruce Reynolds.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to the City of Perth August 2025 Ordinary Council meeting. I formally declare this meeting open at 5 p.m. and I'd respectfully like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land which we meet, the Whadjuk Noongar people of Western Australia, and pay my respects to elders, elders past, present and emerging. It's a privilege to be standing on Whadjuk Noongar country. CEO, can you please recite the prayer?
Almighty God, under whose providence we hold responsibility for this city, grant us wisdom to understand its present needs, foresight to anticipate its future growth, and grace to serve our fellow citizens with integrity and selfless devotion. And to thee be all blessing and glory forever. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Okay. Please note that in accordance with the Local Government Act 1995, this meeting is being live streamed and the recording will be made available on the City's website following the meeting. In attendance this afternoon, we have Councillor Clyde Bevan, Councillor Raj Doshi, Councillor Liam Gilbert, Councillor David Gonsalves, Councillor Lisa, Councillor Steve Wellard and Councillor Victor Coe. In addition, I'd like to welcome all members of the public in attendance, any media in attendance, and our CEO, and also welcome our officers. Item 3.2 is leave of absence. Councillor Dr Coe is on an approved leave of absence, but he has attended this afternoon, so it's great to see you, Councillor Coe. Item 3.3 is applications for leave of absence. The following leave of absence applications have been received. Councillor David Gonsalves for the periods of 7 October 2025 to the 25th of October 2025 inclusive, and the 11th of November 2025 to the 18th of November 2025 inclusive. Do any other elected members have an application for a leave of absence? No, we're good. Can someone please move that motion? Councillor Gobbett, I'm happy to second that. So that is now approved. Oh, sorry. Yep, sure.
Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. Given the timing of one of these periods falling right during the election period, can I ask the administration if there's any implications on agreeing this approved absence of leave?
Through to the CEO.
If I could invite the Manager, Governance and Strategy to respond, please.
Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. This period, one of the leaves of absence applications, the first one in October, actually impacts the induction sessions and the initiation of the new council. So arrangements relating to timing and availability for photographs will need to be changed for all to accommodate the leave of absence. External communications relating to the city's newly elected council will be delayed if the group photographs are postponed. The councillor will miss the opportunity to celebrate and congratulate with the newly elected members. The councillor will be delayed in meeting the newly elected members and potentially miss the opportunity to team build with them throughout the induction, and potentially will miss the opportunity to attend the induction sessions to brush up on skills and understanding that we recommend to all elected members to refresh their training. So those opportunities will be missed. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I'll just have a couple of follow-ups on that. So is there any financial implications to the ratepayers if things are done at a later date or doubled up?
Through you,
Through to you, CEO, and through to governance.
Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. If we're just rescheduling something that's going to happen anyway, then there may not be direct financial implications. The implications would involve officer time to rearrange things that have already been arranged. potential unavailability of the things that have already been arranged because they're arranged quite early in the piece. So it's a bit of a late date now to make other arrangements at this stage. Financially, no, we probably wouldn't duplicate anything other than potentially the training again would be officer time.
Okay, thank you. And I have another question. How many leave of absences to date has this councillor had?
Through to the CEO.
Thank you very much. We actually have all of the information as it relates to councillors' leave of absences. If I could invite the Manager of Governance and Policy to advise, please.
To you, Deputy Lord Mayor. Councillor Gonsalves has requested a leave of absence 6 times, and since the 2023 election, and that has been a total of 90 days.
Okay, any further questions?
Yes, and how does that? Yes, and how does that compare with other elected members?
Through to the CEO.
Through to the Manager, Governance and Policy, please.
Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. The totals read as follows. So, Councillor Doshi, 0 days, 0 requests. Councillor Wellard, 9 days, 1 request. Councillor Coe, 150 days, 2 requests. Noting that Councillor Coe has recently added to his family, hence the length of days. DLM Reynolds is 10 days, 1 request. Councillor Bevan, 38 days, 2 requests. Councillor Gobbert, 43 days, 4 requests. And Councillor Leeser, 78 days at 3 requests.
Any further questions? Okay.
Sure, I can ask a few.
Let's Councillor Gonsalves.
Thanks. Is it normal practice to put in leave of absence requests but still attend the meeting for many of us elected members, where we put in a leave of absence and still attempt to try to attend? I believe I've done so many, many times.
Okay, through to the CEO.
Councillor, I think the question was, could we have the information? So we've provided the information as requested.
I think then the next question would be, how many times have I had those leave of absences but been able to attend the ordinary council meeting in the end anyway, and I'm taking due diligence by providing that?
Through the CEO.
If I could take that on notice, Councillor.
Okay, no problem. Okay, shall we?
Sorry, I've still got some more.
Okay.
In terms of the induction session, when was that provided information-wise to councillors? And we, in terms of our calendar did indicate, I think, the 25th of, or the last Tuesday of October as the special general meeting date. And that's the only thing in the calendar.
Okay, thank you. Through to the CEO.
If I could invite the Manager, Governance and Policy to respond, please.
Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. The calendar hasn't been updated yet, but I would hope it's common knowledge amongst elected members, especially ones elected in 2023 like yourself, that you're directly after your election, there was an intense induction for a week, and you experienced that again in 2024 when Councillor Wellard was elected. There was an intense induction period that all elected members were invited to. So although there aren't calendar invitations yet, there is that expectation that following the week following at least the council election, that we would like elected members, both continuing and new, to be present.
Thank you for that. You mentioned there you'd like, but in terms of the requirements for the induction, is it not true that the induction is mandatory for those elected members who are recently elected, rather than those that are continuing on, like myself?
Sure. Thank you. Through to the CEO.
And through to the Manager, Governance and Policy, please.
Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. Yes, as I mentioned before, they are mandatory for new elected members, not so for continuing, but we do strongly recommend that the continuing elected members use that opportunity to team build with their new colleagues and to refresh their understanding in case there have been changes in between their induction.
Thanks. And was that advice ever given previously? Because it's the first time that I'm hearing it.
Through to the CEO.
Through to the Manager, Governance and Policy, please.
Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. Yes, so for the induction following the last election in 2024, all of that information was provided to all elected members, saying that we strongly recommended that they attended the induction for the 2024 election to refresh their knowledge and to team build with the new elected member.
Thanks. And thank you for providing the some detail there in terms of other elected members' leave of absences that have been higher than mine. I'm just wondering, is that normal practice to explain what the situation is? Because I haven't been afforded that opportunity to explain a leave of absence, but it was clearly communicated to us by at least one elected member's reasons for putting in their leave of absence.
Okay, thank you. Through to CEO.
Thank you, Councillor. I think we just answered the question we were asked.
You okay with that?
My question is whether there's an opportunity for explaining a leave of absence. There was a statement there as to the reasons why a particular elected member may have had a number of leave of absences, and I'm wondering why that was pinpointed just for one elected member rather than an equal opportunity for all elected members.
Okay, through to the CEO.
If I could ask the Manager Governance to respond to that, please.
Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. Sorry, that was just a meism. It was a celebrated occasion. We're all a happy occasion for Councillor Coe, so I added that in myself.
Okay. Look, the only thing I'll add to that is obviously we've got an Act and there's requirements that we've all fulfilled in regards to maintaining a healthy status as contributors as councillors. In regards to the photographs, you know, life does get in the way sometimes. So if we have to move the photos back a few days in order to have the full team in those photos, then you know, that's certainly something that I support. It gives me an extra week in the gym to try and lose that extra kilo that never seems to fall off. So if everyone's happy, let's move on to the meeting and get stuck into it. Yeah, so let's quickly vote on the leave of absence, the subject of the moment.
Sorry, I did have one question based on the responses that have been given. So through yourself, Deputy Lord Mayor. So, but based on the responses from Councillor Consales, is it possible, Councillor, for you to attend the day after the election so that we can have our formal photos and then the press releases can go out so there won't be a delay to the program that's been in place for quite a long time?
Unfortunately, I won't be here to be able to attend. I would love to, but according to the calendar provided previously, I made arrangements for a number of personal and work-related issues to fit around the calendar for the special general meeting, which was called on the last Tuesday of the month, and the cancellation of the agenda briefing session, which has been in all of our calendars, and there have been no other notices or information provided from the administration to enable me to make those plans within the next really month or two.
Except for the date of the election, of course, which has been in play for quite some time.
That's true, but I'm not running in this election, so I wish everyone else good luck, but that's a space not for me.
Without labouring on, we are talking about the day after the election where we have our formal duties, but we'll move on. Thank you very much.
Okie dokie. Now with that, let's vote on the matter at hand. Those that are approved of the motion to approve the leave of absence, please raise your hand. Okay, that is been passed. The Council approves the following leave of absence applications. 1. Councillor Gonzalez for the period of 7 of October 2025 to the 25th of October 2025 inclusive, and 11th of November 2025 to the 18th of November 2025 inclusive. Over to acknowledgements. Can elected members please acknowledge they've had sufficient time to read and consider the agenda items presented this evening? All good. Thank you. Just a reminder on our mobile phone policy and event and emergency protocols. In the event of emergency, please pay attention to directions given by the City of Perth staff. Item 4, announcements by Deputy Lord Mayor. This month I do not have any announcements. Item 5 are disclosures of interest. CEO, do we have any interest disclosed?
Yes, Deputy Lord Mayor, the following interests have been disclosed. Councillor Catherine Leeser has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 11.1 as for consistency and completeness, she is a councillor on Heritage Council WA. Councillor Catherine Leeser has disclosed a direct financial interest in item 11.1 as her residence backs onto Hay Street, Perth. Councillor Stephen Wellard has disclosed a proximity interest in item 11.1 as he owns a property on Hay Street inside the area of focus. Councillor Victor Coe has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 16.1 as he attended Perth Festival in May 2025. Councillor David Gonsalves has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 16.1 as they have previously attended events hosted by Outrage, Perth Festival, Bloom Room Theatre, Strut Dance and the Leicester Prize. Various employees and volunteers of these organisations are known to them. Brodie McCulloch of Space Cubed is also known to them. Councillor Clyde Bevan has disclosed a direct financial impartiality interest in item 16.1 as he, along with his wife Leslie, attended a performance from the Perth Festival valued at just under $300. Councillor Raj Doshi has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 16.1 as she is a board member of the Blue Room Theatre on a voluntary basis. Councillor Stephen Wellard has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 16.1 as he has attended functions hosted by Outrage Fringe World in 24-25 as a guest of Outrage Fringe World. Councillor Liam Gobbett has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 16.1 as he attended an event hosted by Outrage and employees of Outrage are known to him. He attended events held by the Perth Festival as the city's representative in accordance with the attendance at events policy. No association has been formed and this represents an impartiality interest only. Councillor David Gonsalves has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 16.2 as they have previously attended events by Outrage, Perth Festival, Blue Room Theatre, Strut Dance and the Leicester Prize. Various employees and volunteers of these organisations are also known to them. Brodie McCulloch of Space Cubed is also known. Councillor David Gonsalves has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 16.4 as they have previously attended events hosted by Outrage, Perth Festival, Blue Room, Strut Dance and Leicester Prize. Various employees and volunteers of these organisations are known to them. Brodie McCulloch of Space Cubed is also known. Councillor Catherine Leeser has disclosed a proximity interest in item 16.4 as her residence is adjacent to Government House, which is listed as a venue in this item. Councillor Clyde Bevan has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 16.4 as he has known Marina Hogan and her husband as they have been restaurant customers some 5 years ago. He has also been to the exhibitions that she has attended. Councillor Liam Gobbett has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 16.4 as he is a member of the Blue Room Theatre. He has attended events held by the WA Opera, WA Ballet, WASO, the Leicester Prize and Scribblers Festival as the city's representative in accordance with the events policy. No association has been formed and this represents an impartiality interest only. Barking Gecko CEO Ryan Tafe is also known personally to him. Councillor Raj Doshi has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 16.4 as she is a board member of the Blue Room Theatre on a voluntary basis.
CEO, well done. That was a fair stretch. Thank you very much for that. Do any elected members have any disclosures of interest from the floor? No, thank you. Moving across to item 6, we have public participation. 6.1, responses to public questions previously taken on notice. There have been no questions taken on notice at the ordinary council meeting on 29th of July 2025. Just give me 1 second. I just want to No problem. Thank you. Okay, public question time. Before we commence public question time, I'd like to remind everyone that 15 minutes is being allocated for public question time, and this time is available for asking questions only and not for making statements or expressing personal opinions. In addition, no discussions of the questions or answers is to take place. Questions received with more than 24 hours notice will be responded to first, and for those of you who have submitted your questions in the last 24 hours, your questions will be included in the minutes of the meeting and a response will be provided in the agenda at the next ordinary council meeting. CEO, have we received public question times with more than 24 hours notice?
Yes, Deputy Lord Mayor, 3 members of the public have submitted public questions.
Okay, just scanning the field. It looks like David Lim hasn't turned up, so instead of 5 minutes, we'll extend it to 7.5 minutes for each of the questioners. That will be 7.5 minutes to ask their questions and to receive their responses. David Lim isn't here to step forward, so his questions will be provided into the minutes of the meeting. I'd now like to invite Stuart Chapman to please step forward. Stuart, please state your name and suburb. It's good to see you.
Yes, Stuart Chapman, and I have a property in West Perth. All right, I'll start with question 9. In the notes for EMES released 19th of January 24, it is stated this proposal would be a precedent for City of Perth in removing an implied licence for public to be present on a public footpath. What does it exactly mean to remove the implied licence for public to be present on a footpath?
Thank you. Through to the CEO.
If I could invite the General Manager, Community Development to respond, please.
Yes, thank you. And through you, Deputy Lord Mayor, I think a plain reading of the words implied licence is sufficient in this instance to derive the meaning.
Thank you.
Okay. There was an image of no loitering signs on page 3 of Government House update presentation. This was released under an FOI request. Could this page please be displayed so that the members of the public can see what was actually being considered?
Just quick reference. What question number was that one?
Number 10.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Through to the CEO.
If I could invite the General Manager, Community Development to respond, please.
The answer to that is no.
Okay. Thank you. Next question.
Next question. What does no loitering mean in this instance? Please give a specific answer as to what was meant to ban loitering in front of Government House.
Thank you. Through to the CEO.
If I could invite the General Manager, Community Development to respond, please.
Thank you. And through you, Deputy Lord Mayor, obstruction of city thoroughfares is not permitted under relevant local laws.
Okay. Next question.
Sorry, did you say on obstruction? Sorry, my hearing's not the best. I've been in the Army for 25 years.
I said obstruction of city thoroughfares is not permitted under relevant local laws.
Okay. Next question.
Question 12. In 2024-01-16 elected member engagement session notes obtained on an FOI, it is stated elected members indicated that was not unanimous support for the proposal. How many members did support the proposal and who were they?
Thank you. Through to the CEO.
If I could invite the General Manager, Community Development to respond, please.
Thank you. And through you, Deputy Lord Mayor, an elected member engagement session isn't a formal decision-making forum of council, and those matters are not recorded.
Next question.
Did the proposal require unanimous support to proceed to, or a simple majority?
Through to the CEO.
If I could invite the General Manager, Community Development to respond, please.
Thank you, and through you, Deputy Lord Mayor, and I'd refer to the previous answer to question 12, that an elected member engagement session is not a formal decision-making forum of council, and so that question doesn't apply.
Okay, I'll just, and the same, well actually what I'll do, I want to ask this question, question 5. You mentioned that I could hand out the document for members to read at council. This is the FOI release I was talking about last meeting. But wouldn't that be in contravention of Regulation 14 of the Local Government Administration Regulations 1996, which requires that any information tabled at a council meeting must be made available to the public at the same time as it is provided to council members, unless the same document is displayed on screen so that the public can view it simultaneously?
Thank you. Through to the CEO.
If I could invite the General Manager, Community Development to respond, please. Sorry. I think the question is directed to you, DLM.
Okay.
Yes, so where, if I may, you mentioned that I could hand out. I think the reference is you as the presiding member.
Okay, no problem. So Regulation 14 of the Local Government Administration Regulation applies and imposes the requirement on the local government, i.e. the City of Perth. Only the CEO or the Council may table information at that meeting. And we're right on 5 minutes as we pass up through. So, oh, sorry, we've got 7.5. Sorry. David Lim's not here.
You said that's not what we do. Again, sorry, that's referring to you, Deputy Lord Mayor. But last council included a photograph. But last year, council included a photograph of my protest group in the council minutes when we were only less than 1% of Forest Place for a protest last year. Why was that included in the minutes and this single page of an FOI release document not included?
Sorry, Stuart, could you just call out that question number again? We just got.
That was number 6, thanks.
Number 6. Okay, thank you. So it was considered that the photograph enhanced understanding of the question at time. A copy of the document currently being discussed is not considered necessary to enhance understanding. Next question, mate.
Okay, as I was going up in the lift this morning, I found out that Councillor Wellard wasn't member of that EMS meeting. So when was, and part of the reasons that you gave, this is question 7 and 8 combined really, so you said that one of the reasons the document wasn't handed out, it wasn't displayed, was because the council had already seen that document. But I now know that he wasn't at that meeting because he wasn't a councillor at that time. So has Councillor Wellard seen that document, and wouldn't it have been useful for him to see that document and given a copy of that document? So has he been, question 8, has Councillor Wellard been given a copy of this document?
Yep, no problem. Understand the question through the CEO.
If I could invite the Alliance Manager, Governance and Policy to respond, please.
Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. So Councillor Wellard was not a member of council at the time of this meeting. However, elected members have access to all meeting papers, including those from the period prior to their election to council. Following their election to council, elected members are provided access to all meetings, including from the period prior to their election.
Okay, number 15. Were members of the public considered key stakeholders, and if not, why not?
The CEO.
Thank you very much. If I could invite the General Manager, Community Development to respond, please.
Thank you, and through you, Deputy Lord Mayor, as the matter didn't proceed beyond an EMES discussion, there was no need for any further consultation, including with members of the public.
Okay, we're just about to approach 8 minutes, so do you want to have one more?
We'll go to the question 3. Do you expect that elected members to have a photographic memory of a document that they saw about 18 months ago? Is that why you use this as a reason to refuse to let them see it again on screen? Question 3.
No, we certainly don't expect them to have a photographic memory. However, we were given an opportunity to present hard copies to elected members and attendees at the meeting, and the information in regards to that particular item had been dealt with at the time and wasn't proceeding any further from the EMES. So I think that probably answers that question. So that's that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stuart. Good to see you again. I'd now like to invite Jason Bowe to please step forward. Jason Bowe, please.
Good evening.
Jason
Bowe, East Perth. Oh, sorry, jumping the gun a bit there. Yep, questions. Thank you for the Deputy Lord Mayor for meeting with the Queen's Riverside residents last Thursday regarding the topic of Fraser Suites. This meeting was held as an alternate to my request for a formal meeting with the whole of Council and the admin team. However, no councillors attended this meeting despite my original request. So the question is, why were councillors not present?
Through to the CEO.
The administration was not involved in the arrangements relating to this meeting.
Okay, I will have a response at the end of this, so you can go through to your next question and I'll wrap that up.
Question 2. In rejecting my initial request, the DLM's response email stated, and I quote, "If such a forum is being organised, please feel free to send through the details and I'll ensure they are circulated for the councillors' considerations. I am sure they would like the opportunity to be included." The question is, were the meeting details circulated to councillors? And if not, why not?
Through the CEO. Just as above.
The administration was not involved in the arrangements of this meeting.
Okay, so thank you for your questions, Jason. So just in recapping, again, thank you for. Do you have more questions?
I do have a third question.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry, I didn't see that.
So question number 3, what is the CEO and the administration's role in community outreach such as the meetings like these?
Okay, through to the CEO.
The meeting request by Mr Bowe was facilitated by the Deputy Lord Mayor. I was not involved in the arrangements for this meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jason. So again, thank you for your questions and for continuing to advocate for the Queen's Riverside residents. I just want to clarify a point of distinction between the meetings mentioned. The meeting you requested was a formal council-hosted forum, similar to those previously, and this is going by your email, held by the East Perth Action Group. I canvassed this with our councillors, and you have since received a formal response to that. That's the first meeting where you're talking about. Okay. Separately, I had to catch up with resident Mr Edward Roper at his request. We met informally and sharing some information, got along quite well. He's a genuine and constructive guy. On that occasion, and again, if you like to know a little bit more about that, we caught up across the road. So on that occasion, I was running late from one meeting and needed to leave shortly after for another. So my time was limited, and we said we would continue that conversation when we had a chance. That was Friday the 8th. Mr Roper later texted me, and from my messages, I've gone through my texts, it appeared on the following Wednesday the 13th, and was asking me what my calendar looked like. My calendar over the next 2 weeks was absolutely chockers, full, but I did have time that next Thursday, so the very next day, so Wednesday the Thursday. That meeting was not convened or hosted by the city, and I was not across who else had been invited. However, I was invited and I caught up with them. In relation to Fraser Suites, the consensus with that conversation was there was little further required from the city at this stage, as the review panel had been formulated, and I'm sure you're aware of that. For any questions about invitations or attendance, I would encourage you to follow up directly with Mr Roper. As I've previously mentioned, Mr Roper is an engaged and constructive representative, and I appreciate the time to hear his views. So thanks. Good to see you, Jason. That was...
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so where am I? CEO, have any other public questions been received prior to or at the meeting?
No, Deputy Lord Mayor.
Thank you, CEO. A reminder that those questions and the questions will be included in the minutes of this meeting, and a response to any questions will be provided in the agenda of the next councillor meeting. In accordance with a... Don't have to read any of it. If I can read that bit now. Yep. So in accordance with the Local Government Act Regulations 1996, as a person presiding this meeting, I can confirm that members of the public have been given equal and fair opportunity to ask questions as provided in the local standing orders local law. In addition, information is available on the city's website regarding public question time. On those grounds, I'm satisfied that members of the public have had ample opportunity to participate in the process, and as an alternative, you are welcome to contact the city administration directly with any further questions. Item 7 is confirmation of minutes. Would anyone like to move the recommendation that Council confirms the minutes of the ordinary Council meeting held on the 29th of July 2025 as a true and correct record? Mover, Councillor Leeser. Seconder, Councillor Bevan. All those in favour? Okay, that one has been passed unanimously, so no objections. I now declare that motion carried. Item 8 is question by members with due notice has been given. There have been no questions received with notice. Item 9, correspondence. No correspondence has been received. And item 10 is petitions. No petitions have been received. Before we move on to the officers' report, the following items have been identified to be moved en bloc. List of the en bloc reports include 11.2, submission on draft position statement, purpose-built student accommodation. Item 15.2, scheduled of accounts paid for June 2025. Item 15.3 is review of Council Policy 2.2 purchasing. Item 16.3 is event strategy. Item 20.2 is the parking technology replacement for parking access and revenue control systems. Item 20.4 is report in response to the findings of the Office of the Auditor General, performance audit on local government management of purchasing cards. Item 20.5 is a report on behavioural complaints made under Council Policy 1.8, Code of Conduct, Behavioural Complaints Management. Do any elected members wish to extract any of the items listed en bloc? No. I'll now move that this motion be dealt with en bloc. Can I have a seconder of the motion? Councillor Wellard. Do any members oppose this motion? Okay, that motion being unopposed, I now declare it carried unanimously. The recommendations of those items have now been passed en bloc in accordance with Clause 9.2 of the City of Perth Standing Orders Local Law 2009, and the officers and/or committees' recommendations have been adopted by Council. So that is now passed, correct? Moving on to Planning and Sustainability Alliance reports, item 11.1, which is the draft Hay Street Road Reserve widening of local planning policy. We have Councillor Leeser with an impartiality interest and a direct final interest and is required to leave the chamber, and Councillor Wellard has a proximity interest and is required to leave the chamber. Okay, would someone like to move this motion? Okay, Councillor Gobbett. Seconder? Councillor Coe. Mover, would you like to speak to the motion? Councillor Coe? Okay, we can move that motion to a vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. Thank you very much. We'll move over to 11.2. If we could please ask those councillors to come back. Sorry. Okay, moving to item 11.2, that item has been passed en bloc. Item 12 is the Community Development Alliance reports. There are no reports. Item 13 is Infrastructure and Operation Alliance reports. There are no reports. Item 14 is the Commercial Service Alliance reports. There are no reports. Item 15.1 is the interim monthly financial statements. No disclosures have been received. Would someone like to move that motion? Councillor Leeser. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Bevan. Mutha, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just want to draw everyone's attention to the latest monthly accounts, particularly the chart showing the outstanding 99% of rates paid by our ratepayers in the last financial year. It's really remarkable, and I believe it speaks volumes about the commitment of our community, and it demonstrates a strong partnership between the city and its residents. So on behalf of the Council, I want to extend my sincere gratitude to every ratepayer. Your timely contributions allow us to continue investing in the services and infrastructure that make Perth such a fantastic place to live. Thank you.
Seconder, would you like to speak?
Nothing further to add, thank you, Deputy Lord
Would
Mayor.
anyone like to debate for and against? No? I would just like to add congratulations to Council for keeping rates so low so we all can afford them, which is always a good thing. Mutha, would you like to close? Okay, let's put that to vote. All those in favour? That is passed unanimously. Congratulations. Item 15.2 has been carried and moved on block. 15.3 has been moved and carried on block. Item 16.1 is the major events and festival sponsorship for 25-26. We have impartialities by Councillor Coe, Councillor Gonsalves, Councillor Doshi, Councillor Wellard and Councillor Gobbett. We have a direct financial and impartiality by Councillor Bevan, who is required to leave the chamber. Okay, would someone like to move this motion? Councillor Leeser. Seconder, Councillor Gobbett. Got to be quick, guys. Move it to speak.
Thank you, Chair. These events are a significant part of our city's calendar and make a noticeable contribution to our cultural and economic life. Fringe World brings an incredible buzz to our streets, drawing visitors and activating our venues, while Perth Festival enriches us with world-class art and entertainment. Our continued support through these sponsorships helps to ensure these events can proceed, benefiting our tourism sector and local businesses. I believe this is a sensible and necessary commitment, and I recommend this motion to my fellow councillors.
Thank you. Seconder, would you like to speak?
I reserve my right, thanks.
Okay. Anyone like to speak for or against? Councillor Wellard.
Thank you, through yourself, Deputy Lord Mayor. Just mirroring what Councillor Leeser has said there. So Fringe World is the signature event on Perth Summer Program, delivering tremendous diversity and positive tourism opportunities over a full month. I'm full support of proceeding to it being a multi-year financial supporter of this event. Equally, the Perth International Arts Festival is an impressive key event held across Greater Perth, and while I'm in support of multi-year funding of the great event, we need to understand the program better in the following years before committing to large amounts of City of Perth ratepayers' dollars to ensure we're seeing our fair share of events held for free within our city's boundaries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? No, we're good. Okay, let's put that one to a vote. Actually, would you like to close? Is there anything you want to say? Okay, let's put it to a vote. All those in favour? That has been passed unanimously. Thank you. Okay, if we could, someone can go and grab Councillor Bevan, please. Welcome back. Moving to 16.2, Economic Development Sponsorship for 2025. Councillor Gonsalves has an impartiality and is not required to leave the chamber. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Doshi. And a seconder, Councillor Leeser. Councillor Doshi.
Nothing to add.
Councillor Leeser.
Thank you, Chair. This initiative is a practical and effective way to foster growth in our local economy. The Perth Landing Pad directly assists international businesses looking to establish a presence here in WA, and by providing a clear pathway and support for these companies, we facilitate foreign investment, encourage innovation and help create job opportunities for our residents. Supporting programs like Perth Landing Pad is consistent with our broader economic development strategy, and it helps position Perth as an attractive destination for international enterprises, contributing to a more diverse and resilient economy. I believe this sponsorship represents a strategic investment for our future, prosperity, and I commend this motion to my fellow councillors for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak for or against? Yep. Councillor Wellard.
Thank you, through yourself, Deputy Lord Mayor. Space Cubed is a proud City of Perth startup company, first launched in 2012 right here on St George's Terrace. So as a councillor focused on developing local business talent, the city's multi-year contribution to Space Cube seems a perfect match for our long-term goals. This application also supports one of our other City of Perth goals to build a brighter, smarter, more technology-driven city. For these reasons alone, I support the administration's recommendation for the multi-year funding. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone else like to comment? Okay, we can put that to a vote. Those in favour? Okay, that one is passed unanimously. Teamwork makes the dream work. Through to item 16.3, event strategy. This item has been passed on block. Item 16.4 is the Arts and Culture Sponsorship for 25-26. Councillor Gonsalves has an impartiality. Councillor Leeser has a proximity and is required to leave the chamber. Councillor Bevan, Councillor Gobbett and Councillor Doshi all have impartialities and are not required to. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Doshi and the seconder, Councillor Gobbett. Councillor Doshi, would you like to speak?
Yes, Deputy Lord Mayor, through you, I would like to, through the Standing Orders Local Law, I'd like to move an amended motion to the primary motion in section 9.9, and that's for reference C for the deputation that came through for the Blue Room last week. The request for year 1 to be 70,000, year 2 to be 80, and for year 3 to be 90,000, please.
Are you moving an amendment?
An amended, yes,
Amendment? Yep.
an amendment to the primary motion.
Okay. Is that to agreement with the seconder?
To make it easier as the seconder, I'll support that as the amended motion.
Yep, sure. Okay. So whilst we're getting that up on screen, can I just ask the administration for the impact? And I'll also foreshadow, if it doesn't get up, that we'll go back to the original motion.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. If I could invite the General Manager, Events and Activation, to respond to the implications with the proposed amendment.
Thank you, and through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. It will just reduce the balance of the second and third year funding by the amount that it's been increased by, so $10,000 and $20,000 respectively.
Thank you. Would anyone like to speak for the or against the amendment?
Just have some further questions.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Just to clarify what was just said there, was, I believe at the ABS, it was mentioned that that would reduce funding for everyone else. So when you said it would be less in the second and third year, how would that impact the others?
Through the CEO.
If I could invite the General Manager, Events and Activation, to respond, please.
Yeah, sorry, just to clarify, in the first year, all the funding had been used up. So if the funding was increased for the first year, we would have to take funding from other applicants or other grant recipients. In the third and fourth year, second and third year, all the funding has not been used up, and therefore it would just simply reduce by the amount over those 2 years.
Further questions?
Yeah, further question there. Just does that mean, this is obviously multi-year agreements, does that close the door on other applicants who wish to apply in the 26-27 period or the 27-28 period?
Okay, just quickly through the CEO.
And through to the General Manager, please.
Sorry, through you, Deputy Lord Mayor, can I just clarify, are you saying other applicants within this list or just generally?
Yeah, generally in a future intake.
No, it won't. Yeah, just sorry, to clarify, it just reduces the amount of the total pool of funds that's available for those other applicants. So it's quite a heavily contested pool of applicants, and it just simply reduces it by that amount.
So it does. So just to finally clarify, it does reduce the overall amount in 26-27 and 27-28, and therefore we have a less of a pool for other applicants in those years.
Just through the CEO.
Correct.
You okay with that, Councillor? Okay, and Councillor Doshi, just before we go to a vote, can you just provide your reasons for the amendment?
Sure. So the Blue Room came in, well, they did a deputation last week in the ABS, and the fact that it's a very small independent theatre, one of a kind in Australia, so we're very lucky to have it here in the city of Perth. The fact that they focus so heavily on diversity and inclusion and having safe spaces for people to perform art, I think it's really important that we support these types of groups and these types of organisations so that they stay around for longer. And I think it would be a good investment for the city.
Okay, Councillor Gobbett.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. And I note the questions from Councillor Gonsalves that if there were to be a reduction in the overall pool, I mean, yeah, of course there would. That's how the budget works. If we allocate more in one area, we wouldn't be able to allocate it in another area. But that doesn't mean that in future years, Council can't also increase the overall budget amount in that area and reduce it in a totally other area of our operations of the city. So it's entirely in the remit of a future council to make that determination. But what the decision tonight will be is to acquiesce to the request from the Blue Room to be able to deliver their overall program of events. And noting the deputation from last week, I think that they provided sufficient merit in the in support of their funding application. And so I'm quite happy to support Councillor Doshi's amended motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any further support for or against? No, I think we can move that through. Councillor Doshi, did you want to close?
No further.
All right, let's put that to a vote. Those in favour? Councillor Reynolds, Councillor Gonsa, sorry. Yeah, this is for the whole motion. The amendment's already included. So all those in favour of the whole motion with the amendment? Okay, so everyone except for Councillor Coe. So that is passed. Thank you. It's carried. Councillor Coe against. Okay, let's move along to item 17.1. Yeah,
Deputy Lord Mayor,
yeah.
I wish to make an amendment to that item as well. 16.2.
Too late, mate.
Too late, is it?
Yeah. Sorry, we just voted on it.
We voted and amended. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. Okay, let's go to item 17, which is the Chief Executive Officer Alliance Report. We now move to item 17.1, City of Perth Dogs Local Law Act 2025, Undertakings and Proposed Amendment. Can I please have someone to move that motion? Councillor Gobbett, and a seconder. Councillor Gonsalves. Councillor Gobbett? Councillor Gonsalves? Okay, would anyone like to speak for or against?
Just a question here. In terms of the city's role to administer the Dog Act, what consultation will we be undertaking with residents and stakeholders in the community to ensure that people are aware of any changes or expectations?
Okay, thank you. Through to the CEO.
If I could invite the Alliance Manager, Council, Governance and Policy to respond, please.
Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. Every local law has a minimum of 12 weeks public consultation. We usually err on the side of caution to avoid public holidays, etc. So around 13 or 14 weeks. Given that we have a caretaker period coming up, it's likely that that will be extended in this occasion. So this local law will likely receive more public consultation period than that.
Thank you. Any further questions? Let's move that to the vote. Those in favour? That one is passed unanimously. Thank you. Item 18 is committee reports. There have been no reports submitted. Moving to item 19, which are motions of which previous notice has been given. Item 19.1 is the public art in public spaces murals on available public walls, particularly under freeway overpasses. Councillor Bevan has submitted a notice of motion, and I assume you'd like to move that. That's fine. So Councillor Bevan. Seconder. Councillor Gobbett. Over to you, Councillor Bevan.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. My motion today is a matter that is both practical and symbolic, an issue of aesthetics, identity and civic pride. Every day, more than 21,000 vehicles enter the heart of our city via Mounts Bay Road exit from the Kwinana Freeway. This is one of Perth's most major arterial entry points, used by workers, tourists, families and freight. It is, for many, their first impression of our city. And yet, what do they see? They pass beneath an elevated freeway and are greeted by a stark, visually neglected underpass. Grey concrete pylons, defaced by graffiti, stand over a barren, dusty stretch of land, an area left untouched since the freeway widening works in 1973. It's bleak, it's uninviting, and frankly, it's disappointing. This space should reflect the vibrancy and pride we hold in our city of Perth. It should speak to our sense of place and our care for detail. But right now, it's a glaring contradiction of the otherwise scenic approach to the city. Contrast this with the nearby Woodside precinct. There, the same pylons, mere metres away, are painted in a simple neutral tone, instantly lifting the feel for the area. That one small change shows us what's possible. We have an opportunity here, not just to tidy up, but to reimagine this gateway into our city. These pylons offer a blank canvas, perfect for public artwork that could tell stories of our local culture, celebrate our shared identity, welcome people with colour, creativity and life. And there's the good news. This can be done without traffic closures, and there is no need for major disruption. The groundwork has already begun with early landscaping and ground restoration. This is the ideal time to act. This isn't just about beautification. It's about creating a city that reflects who we are, modern, artistic and proud. It's about showing care in details. And it's about answering the community voices, many of whom have personally contacted me, frustrated by the neglected state of this highly visible area. At our recent EMES meeting, I presented photographs and made this unavoidably clear. We have left this task for too long. So today I ask for your support to work together to make this change not just for aesthetics but for the soul of the city. Let's ensure that when people enter Perth, they feel something immediately, welcomed, inspired and proud to be here. Let's present the City of Perth in a manner it truly deserves.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Bevan. Councillor Gobbett, would you like to speak?
Reserve my right, thanks.
Would anyone else like to speak for or against or have any questions? Councillor Doshi.
Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. The area, in my opinion, is a zone relating to foot traffic. It's just cars passing by, and directing funds here is not a visible benefit to ratepayers. Investment should be prioritised into community spaces that residents, businesses and visitors use and see daily. The responsibility for this site lies with the asset owners, in noting that this area is particularly shared by state government, main roads and the City of Perth. Furthermore, the city entryways, we already have projects underway and conversations about targeting key roads and city entryways. So allocating funds to a feasibility study in this location, I believe, is a poor use of resources, which is tangible, when tangible, community impact could be achieved elsewhere. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And you did clarify in that statement that it is an investigation at this stage, so that's great. I don't need to clarify that. Would anyone else like to speak for or against? No? Okay, would you like to close, Councillor Bevan?
Certainly, thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. A dead zone. I'd hardly call it a dead zone for all those people, all those apartments who live along Mounts Bay Road, and those people who have business there, liquor stores, delis, and a number of other businesses, chemists. There's a lot of people along that area, so it's hardly a dead zone. And I believe that as an entry statement to our city, we deserve a lot better.
Okay, that was a close, so we'll now put that to a vote. Those in favour? Councillor Reynolds, Councillor Gobbett, Councillor Bevan, Councillor Coe and Councillor Gobbett, and those against Councillor Leeser and Councillor Doshi. That has been carried. Thank you. We'll move over to item 19.2, Notice of Motion CCTV Reimbursement Scheme. Councillor Gobbett has moved this motion, and I will move the motion. Councillor Gobbett, and a seconder, please. Councillor Wellard will second that. Councillor Gobbett, can you please speak to the reasons?
Sure. Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. I want to firstly talk a bit about why I've worded the motion the way that I have, and then I'll go into some detail about why I think this initiative is important. This initiative has come directly from the community. Earlier this year, I was made aware of a series of Facebook posts on the East Perth local neighbourhood group page, wherein residents had pasted links to the cities of Kwinana and Joondalup schemes, asking if a similar one existed in the city of Perth. After taking some time to research and prepare this motion and discuss with elected members, I've also socialised the motion with ratepayers from across the city to gauge their feedback, and I'm confident that there is broad support from both residents and businesses for this initiative. I'd originally drafted the motion to be a trial for residents only, going off the Kwinana and Joondalup schemes, but I considered that with the city of Perth being as mixed use as we are, the potential for crime doesn't stop because a property boundary does. And take Bennett Street in East Perth, for example, a mixture of restaurants, apartments, cafes and retail. So I've deliberately made the reference in 2BII of the motion to say rateable properties, to have some flexibility for whomever may wish to take this proposal up if successful. I'm mindful too that there are evolving standards in electronics and IT software and hardware capabilities and associated costs, and so I've kept this under the part requesting these be captured in guidelines so that if supported by council, things like minimum megapixel resolution, connections being made by qualified persons, etc., can be managed ongoing by the administration rather than being restricted by a council motion. So it's kind of hard to say at this point definitively what the take-up would be, but one Crawley resident did suggest to me that if supported by council, the city should do some targeted marketing for residents and businesses that have had some unfortunate experiences and invite specific ratepayers to consider applying to enhance their personal sense of community safety. So considering this, I thought it would be best to leave the recommended budget to the administration to suggest a figure, because this would be a new scheme if successful, and I'm not sure it would be the best thing to set a limit at this stage, rather just to acknowledge the initiative and we can explore this as part of the budget process. I was also asked by one resident about privacy, and with this, I'm glad that the report refers to the legislation. The intent of this, as with the guidelines from other local authorities, is for cameras to be only public-facing, not into neighbouring yards or bedrooms or the like. The intent also is to have in the guidelines as a condition that CCTV scheme locations are provided to WA Police to enable them to speed up contact and obtain footage, such as through the CamMap WA portal. If supported by council, this program would be complementary to the city's own camera network, a system that is indeed the envy of every other state capital, totalling 1,416 cameras spread across 808 that monitor our streets, 580 in our car parks, and the 24 on the 8 mobile CCTV trailers. That kind of infrastructure improvement takes time, over 2 decades to build up, and rightfully so, with sound budgeting, workforce planning, asset management. But that aside, I see that there is merit in the city exploring a program that might have a quick turnaround for safety and security improvements for our ratepayers. So a reimbursement scheme that enables ratepayers to procure a system and have it installed and enhance the amenity of the local area is a good thing. I'm pretty passionate about finding solutions to enhancing the safety and security of our city. This is an opportunity to do that, and I respectfully seek council's support for the motion.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Weller, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you very much, Deputy Lord Mayor. I'd just like to explain, so I hadn't heard of these sort of schemes before Councillor Gobbett raised it, and so I was a little bit sceptical at the start, but just by pure coincidence, I've had my own camera system upgraded at home, and I'd say that the technology that's available now is outstanding, and we do have different parts of our community that do have even though we have some that have a lot of cameras, we do have some areas of dark spots or black spots across West Perth, Nedlands and Crawley, where this sort of scheme combined with high quality cameras that are online will provide a tangible benefit to the safety and security of those streets. So I am very keen to see what the administration can come up with on this scheme, and if allowable, I would definitely like to tune my own personal cameras into this that face the street and can provide much more security in my area. I would, of course, reserve the one camera I do have that watches my cats on a 24-hour basis, because I don't think that would really be in the public interest, but the others are fantastic. Thank you very much.
Your cat, okay. Anyone, 2 cats. Anyone else would like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Doshi?
Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. While in theory I think it's a great idea, CCTV reimbursements raise potential privacy concerns and could leave the city exposed to liability if cameras were misused. Without strong safeguards, the initiative, I believe, is too risky to support. Additionally, it could create equity issues for residents. And what I mean by that is, in East Perth, for example, a lot of the area is dominated by high-rise complexes like Adelaide Terrace, whereas Claysbrook has a large single-dwelling population. So how would the city determine what is fair and appropriate when reimbursing a street address with 226 units versus a single home, for example, on Royal Street? Increasing our own CCTV network into the public domain would be a much better idea and better use of funds, and that way we retain, we continue to be the asset owners of those cameras.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councillor Lisa?
Thank you, Chair. While I fully appreciate the intent behind this motion, we all want to enhance safety and support the police. I also have concerns about the practicality and efficiency, especially given what Councillor Gobbett just said about our extensive network that we have. And I was looking for how many cameras are on the CamMap system, and the only figure I could find was a 2020 figure where it was reported there was over 10,000 already registered on there. So it'd be more by now. That's a lot. And then you add that to the 1,416 that Councillor Gobbett mentioned, and we've got an additional 24 mobile units we can deploy at any time. That's a considerable investment of our ratepayers' money. So my primary concern really is the administrative burden and resource implications of implementing a reimbursement scheme like this. Managing applications, verifying installations, ensuring compliance, processing payments, it could all incur significant ongoing costs in staff time and financial outlay. I question whether diverting these valuable resources to a reimbursement program would genuinely provide a more effective outcome than enhancing or optimising our already extensive centrally managed CCTV network. I believe our focus should remain on strengthening and intelligently deploying the assets we currently have now. Therefore, I don't support this motion. Thank you.
Okay, would anyone else like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Coe.
Thanks, Deputy Lord Mayor. So I myself am a ratepayer. I personally have no problems giving money to organisations to host events. I don't mind providing a grant for apartments to invest in solar panels or batteries, but I think giving a reimbursement scheme for CCTVs, I have no problems with installing CCTVs, but paying for them and giving an incentive for it might not be the right direction for the city to go. So I'll be voting for against this motion. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to speak for or against? I don't.
Sorry, as a question, are you able to speak again on this motion?
No, unfortunately not, mate. Okay, and the only thing I'd sort of... No one else? Yep, Councillor Gonsalves. No, you go. You're right.
I'm going to move a procedural to defer this item.
Okay, so we'll move a procedure. So just for the record, before we do that, this is to investigate establishing. This isn't signing up right now. So deferring it is kind of the same thing, isn't it?
I'd like to make my case.
Yeah, cool. Yep, far away.
So deferring it till the last meeting of the year and to give it an opportunity to be discussed at a elected member engagement session.
Sure, so deferring it to the next ordinary council meeting?
No, till December 2025, which is on the screen.
Next one's October.
Yep, but I'm suggesting after the election.
Yeah, so then that would be next year because there's none in December.
I believe there is an OCM in December. Yep.
Yeah. So there's one at the end of November, not in December. Hang on a sec, we're still checking our diaries. Not looking at each other. We'll get there. We'll just get the date right. That's all, mate. Just for our records.
Sorry, Deputy Lord Mayor, I'm confused, but didn't this already go to an EMES? Yes.
It has. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. So the OCM is on the 9th of December. So you're correct.
Yep.
So you're looking to raise a motion to defer it to the 9th of December.
That's right.
Okay. Can I have a seconder for that amendment? Councillor Leeser. Straight to the vote. Those in favour? To the deferral. Those in favour, Councillor Leeser, Councillor Coe, Councillor Gonsalves. Councillor, okay, and so that will be lost. I'll have the casting vote on that. We'll vote on that one now. Okay, so back to the item. Would anyone else like to speak for or against?
I just have some questions.
Sure.
Thanks. We just passed a budget last month. Was there an opportunity to bring this up during the budget process? And is there any indication from admin as to anything to prevent that?
Through to the CEO.
From an admin's perspective, we appreciate that we have a 6-month lead time into the budget process. I think this was actually discussed at the EBS as well, that our process really commences towards the beginning of the year, goes for a solid 6 to 7 months. So we do hope that all of the great initiatives, ideas and other projects that Council are seeking to have delivered are done as part of that process.
And follow-up questions?
Yeah, just again on the budget process, we obviously in the period where we have an election and caretaker period very soon, and we may have a new council being representing and making decisions. What processes will there be for council to take on this and provide more scope or focus onto the detail within the budget process?
Okay, through the CEO.
As I understand it, if Council support this, then the investigation will be undertaken as to how it would or could be delivered. If I might be able to invite the General Manager, Community Development, to give us some more specifics around what might be involved.
Thank you. Yes, and through you, Deputy Lord Mayor, the investigation which is proposed here would need to consider the operating processes, the guidelines, the technical requirements, that full range of work. I think, and Councillor Gobbett's proposal is that this be considered as part of the 26-27 budget process. So the administration would bring into the budget process the findings of that investigation.
Thank you. Further questions? No. Okay. Anyone else like to speak for or against? Okay. Just before I pass through, I just again, it is an investigation, and from my point of view, anything to make a safe city even safer is something worth investigating. Would you like to close?
Sure. So Councillor Gonsalves raised the question, was there an opportunity to raise this in the budget process? Yes, there always is an opportunity to raise any matter during the budget process. That's what I'm doing now for next year's budget process. So if successful, this will be investigated and reported back through, and we would be able, as a council or as a cohort, to make a fully informed decision. That was the intent behind bringing that motion before tonight. Councillor Leeser raised the point that it was, in terms of practicality and efficiency, I think this would be an exceptionally practical and efficient solution. There is demonstrated ability for other local governments to deliver this program, and I see this for the city being no different. The CAM map, as a condition of the grant application, I believe would address that and would provide the information to Western Australian Police so that it can be accessed quickly. Councillor Doshi spoke about the potential concerns and the strong safeguards and it being too risky, and I would have to disagree. The whole intent of the guidelines being in place is to make sure that there was a strong safeguard, to make sure that there was no risk to the general public, and to make sure that there were no inequity issues for residents. And I believe, and I'm happy to stand corrected, but I think Councillor Doshi spoke of one building, and that wasn't the intent of the motion. I outlined that and spoke explicitly to that point about it being rateable property. So each apartment itself, as an individual dwelling, would be its own individual rateable property. So not one street address, but each rateable property.
Could I just get a clarification there? Just governance.
Sorry, I'm speaking, Councillor.
Yeah.
Our own city network.
So it's a point of order.
And which point is that?
And the point of order
Just a sec, I'll just check the point of order. Can you state the point of order?
Thanks. The point of order is whether there's new material being introduced.
No point of order, Deputy Lord Mayor. Members aren't to interrupt unless to raise a point of order. Councillor Gonsalves failed to identify the point of order. He just spoke.
Okay. How about we let the councillor finish his close?
And I think I've addressed the points that have been raised. This is about creating a safe and secure city for the ratepayers of Perth, and I seek council's support for the motion. Thanks.
Okay, with that, let's put that motion to a vote. All those in favour? That is Councillor Reynolds, Councillor Gobbett, Councillor Wellard and Councillor Bevan, and that motion is passed. Thank you. All righty, thank you. Good debate. Well done.
Can I just clarify? We haven't voted yes and no.
Which did?
Yes, but did you?
Because we've got 4 yeses and the casting vote, then it's carried. And so we know who's voted no because you effectively, yeah. Does that make sense? Okay. Item 19.3, which is notice of motion for the Totterell Park safety and lighting. This motion was moved by Councillor Wellard. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Gobbett. Councillor Wellard, can you speak to your reasons and to your motion?
Thank you very much, Deputy Lord Mayor. This issue in Totterell Park has been bubbling along for quite some time. It's regarding the lighting levels along mainly the western end of the park. I recognise the great work that the city has done in recent months to improve the lighting along the northern edge, but there is still heavy vegetation and low level of lighting that creates a rather unsafe pedestrian access way, especially at late hours of the night. This motion is to investigate the feasibility and cost to install the same tall, very effective light poles that have been put along the northern end of the park, along the western edge where the cycleway is and in between 3 rows of vegetation, to allow that area to be much safer for people to not only just walk through there but also to cycle, and to report back, the administration report back at the earliest EMS that allows for council consideration in time for an installation before winter 2026.
Thank you very much. Seconder, would you like to speak to the motion?
I reserve my right, thanks.
Would anyone else like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor.
I'd like to speak for it. Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. We had a residents meeting in that region not so long ago, and I spoke to a number of people there, and they all spoke about it being very dark and quite scary. And I remember some 4 years ago when I was running for council for election that I was delivering flyers in that area. And I felt exactly the same. So I hear what they say and I agree with the motion.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak for or against the motion? Would you like to close, councillor?
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. Yes, and I do appreciate the views from my fellow councillor here. I'd like to say that we have a duty to make these beautiful parks not just a safe place during the day, but also at night, especially those that are adjacent major public transport intersection, as this one is. We also have the adjacent Wunju homeless service that has increased concerns with those community, and I think if the interim budgets of November this year can allow for some additional light poles to go into that park, it would well and truly add to the safety and security of the area and meet some pretty strong concerns from our community base. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's put that motion to a vote. All those in favour? That is passed unanimously. Well done. Thank you. Good motion. Okay, moving to 19.4, notice of motion, street parking fee waiver program. This motion has been submitted by Councillor Gobbett. So can I have a seconder, please? I'll second it. I think every motion should be spoken to, so I will second that. Councillor Reynolds. Councillor Gobbett, can you speak to your reasons?
Yeah, sure. And I'd like to move under Standing Order 12.1A that the motion be deferred.
Okay. Can I just get a date, please, for the deferral?
Yeah, to the next ordinary council meeting.
The very next ordinary council meeting, which is November 29. Does that sound right? Can someone just please check that date? Councillor, it's not a significant decision, but do you want that to be after the caretaker period?
I'm happy for that to be after caretaker, thanks.
Okay, so November the 20-something. Just checking. November 18th. Okay, so we'll move that to the November the 18th. Just give us a second while we get that up. Can I please have someone to second that amendment? Yep, Councillor Willard. And we'll move that to a vote. Those in favour? Those against? So those against, Councillor Gonsalves, Councillor Leeser. Everyone else is in favour for the minute taker. Okay, so let's move that to be deferred. That has been passed. On to the next item. Okay, moving to item 20, matters for which the meeting may be closed. We will now move behind closed doors to consider confidential items 20.1, 20.2, 20. There we are. Welcome back. Okay, item 21 is urgent business. There is no urgent business, and item 22 is closure. There being no further business, I now declare that the Ordinary Council meeting is officially closed at 6:26 p.m. Thank you for all those in attendance and all those that contributed. Thank you very much.
Could you please all rise for the Deputy Lord